Love doesn't begin with happiness. It begins with the moment control slips. Before you can think clearly about someone, your body reacts first. Your heart speeds up, your thoughts go quiet, and suddenly you're noticing every detail about a person you barely know. The way they talk, the way they look at you, the way silence feels around them. This isn't imagination. It's your nervous system stirring before your logic ever catches up. Early love triggers the same ancient emotional circuits in the brain that respond to threat and risk, the parts that evaluate safety before anything else. That's why those first moments of connection can feel overwhelming, intense, confusing. Your body feels something powerful even before you understand it. In fact, scientists have found that the brain's emotional and reward systems, the ones linked with fear and the ones linked with attachment, aren't separate. They fire together, activating hormones and reactions that make those first moments feel like losing your footing. So the very first emotional response to love, before joy, before certainty, before comfort, is often fear. Real fear. Not because love is bad, but because it means you're stepping outside the place where you thought you were safe. And once this happens, a woman's behavior begins to change in ways most people completely misunderstand. Once control slips, something subtle changes inside her. She becomes more aware, not in a dramatic way but in an everyday human way. She starts noticing tone more than words, timing more than intentions, distance more than closeness. A message that comes later than usual feels heavier. Pause feels louder than it should. This happens because love threatens emotional independence. When someone starts to matter, the brain treats that connection as something valuable, and anything valuable feels fragile. Her nervous system moves into monitoring mode, constantly checking. Am I safe here? Am I about to get hurt? That's why emotions suddenly feel louder. Small moments carry more weight. A look can lift her mood. Silence can drop it. Thoughts don't just pass through anymore, they loop, replay, and return. Not because she wants them to, but because her mind is trying to protect something it hasn't learned how to secure yet. This is where behavior often gets misunderstood. Overthinking isn't obsession, it's caution. Mixed signals aren't games, they're uncertainty. Nervousness isn't weakness, it's emotional exposure. She's not confused about what she feels. She's aware of what she could lose. And this is where most people misread her behavior completely. Here's what really shapes her response to love. Love doesn't arrive alone. It brings memory with it. The moment she starts to feel attached, her emotional system quietly looks backward. Not to analyze, not to compare, but to protect. Past relationships, past disappointments, past moments where trust cost her something all leave traces. And those traces don't live in thoughts. They live in the nervous system. That's attachment theory in real life. Attachment is the pull toward closeness. Self-protection is the pull toward safety. Both can activate at the same time. So when intimacy increases, comfort doesn't always come first. Fear often does. Not fear of the person, fear of what closeness has meant before. Because intimacy doesn't just open the present moment. It reopens stored emotional pain the body hasn't fully released. This is why she may lean in one day and hesitate the next. It's not confusion. It's not uncertainty. It's emotional self-defense working quietly in the background. Her nervous system is doing what it learned to do. Scan for risk, detect shifts, notice changes before they hurt. Subconsciously, her body asks, is this safe enough to stay open? That's the deep truth most surface explanations miss. She can genuinely want connection and fear it at the same time, because love feels unsafe not when it's wrong, but when it reminds the body of what once hurt. And this inner tension doesn't stay hidden for long. It starts shaping how she reacts, how close she gets, and how she pulls back, often without realizing why. Jealousy often shows up, but it's not about wanting to control you. It's not about being possessive. For her, it's a signal from the nervous system, a warning that something she values might be at risk. When she notices attention going elsewhere, or senses a shift in closeness, it triggers a fear of being replaced. Her mind quietly compares, without judgment, scanning to see if the bond she values is secure. It's about emotional territory, not ownership. She's not manipulating or trying to limit you. She's protecting the connection that feels meaningful. Past experiences make this response stronger. Old heartbreaks, previous betrayals, or early attachment patterns mean her nervous system reacts before conscious thought even catches up. Jealousy isn't about control. It's about fearing replacement. When you see it this way, her feelings start to make sense. They're human, understandable, and deeply relatable, not confusing or irrational. Love rarely moves in a straight line. One moment she leans in, wanting closeness. The next, she pulls back, leaving you confused. This is the push-pull loop, one of the most misunderstood phases in the psychology of women in love. It's called the approach-avoidance conflict. Part of her craves intimacy, connection, reassurance. Another part recoils, protecting herself from the vulnerability that comes with opening up. Closeness can feel euphoric at first, then overwhelming. After sharing her feelings or letting someone in, she might need space to reset and manage the intensity of her emotions. This isn't manipulation, it's self-regulation. Her nervous system balances the joy of connection against the risk of emotional exposure. So when she seems inconsistent, it isn't about you. It's about how she navigates what she feels inside. She's not pulling away from you. She's pulling away from how exposed she feels. This phase often looks like mixed signals, but understanding it turns confusion into clarity. What seems unpredictable from the outside is actually her body and mind working together to protect something she values deeply. Love isn't always spoken. Often, it shows up in the quiet ways that might go unnoticed. She expresses love through her presence, by simply being there when it matters. It's in the small, consistent actions, checking in, remembering little details, offering support without being asked. Care isn't always about grand gestures. It's about consistency, showing up day after day, even when it's ordinary or unnoticed. Protection doesn't always come as words of reassurance. It comes through emotional attentiveness, noticing when something feels off, sensing when you need space, understanding without being told. The key insight here is simple. Real love is often quiet, practical, and steady. It's not dramatic. It doesn't need to prove itself. It's shown in the small ways she makes you feel safe, valued, and seen, again and again. At the end of the day, understanding a woman's psychology isn't about changing her or giving advice. It's about seeing her experience clearly. Love grows where safety exists. When she feels secure, her nervous system relaxes, and connection flows naturally. Pressure, intensity, or constant demands do the opposite. They increase withdrawal and make closeness feel risky. Consistency, small, steady, reliable actions builds trust. It's these quiet, dependable moments that allow love to deepen. So when you step back and look at it through this lens, it all makes sense. Her behavior, her hesitations, her pullbacks, they're not confusion or games. They're the natural response of someone navigating vulnerability, attachment, and care. When love feels safe, it doesn't need to defend itself. And sometimes that simple understanding is enough. It lets you see her, her emotions, and the love she's offering, exactly as it is. If this helped you understand yourself a little better, imagine what else you'll uncover here. Subscribe to MindView so you don't miss the next insight. You might be surprised by how much it shifts the way you see people and yourself.